really laugh. I gotta laugh because life is fucking funny sometimes. But like, I look at like my daughter sending me all these hateful texts. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know where this is coming from. And I just respond with loving messages back. And I'm, trying to do my best to make a connection and to find out what's going on with her. And it's like I told Will, it's like we're playing volleyball and I'm hitting the ball over the net and she's just flapping it to the side. And then I hit the ball and then she flacks it to the side. And after a while, when you're playing ball with someone like that, you're just like, you know what, this sucks. This game sucks. This is the worst volleyball game ever. And so that's what it's like when you're spending your energy and your time trying to save people who don't want, don't even save them, but you're trying to speak your messages of truth to ears that don't want to hear you. It's just like they flack your volleyball to the side. They don't see you. They don't want to hear you. And so if you don't waste your time, you're going to have so much more fun if you like realize right then, like, you know what, every time I serve the ball to this person, they fucking whack the ball to the side. This sucks. You're a terrible volleyball player. I'm leaving and I love you. And thank you for showing me how not to play volleyball. And then you go over and you find a new playmate. Hey, you want to play volleyball? And they return the ball and they return the ball. This is fun. And this is relationship. Like relationship is relating. When we have relationship, we relate to one another and we pass the ball back and forth. And it's fun. It can be playful. When there's not a relationship, there are people that cling to each other, but they don't have relationship. Does that make sense? Is she responding? I'll give her a second. Okay. So back to what I was just reading. You are not for everyone. So talk to the people who can hear you. Spend time with the people who can see you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince them of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. That is so perfect. Like, think of like every time you're trying to convince people of anything, like if I'm trying to help people understand spiritual alignment and they don't want what I'm selling, I'm going to feel exhausted and frustrated. And this is why I do not chase customers. Like if clients come to yoga and meditation, let's say they come for like a month, and then I don't hear from them for a while, I may invite them back like, hey, I was just noticing I haven't seen you in a while and I'd love to see you. But if they don't really want to heal and they don't really want the mindfulness, they're going to just ignore me. And so it's smart for me not to keep investing my time and energy into those who don't want what I'm selling. And if I'm selling inner peace and understanding and wisdom and they don't want it, stop trying to sell it to them. And you will save your time. You'll save your energy. But I promise you, there are people who want that. And they would love to hear what you have to say. Focus on those people. Those are your people.
She said it does make sense.
Perfect. Okay. I already knew she would say that because Cindy and I, I'm just kidding. Okay. So don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince them of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. Don't convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds, which will take precious time to heal. And think about that, how maybe some of us have family and we feel like, oh, I've got to hang out with my siblings, even though I can't stand them. And they're like, maybe my sibling is the most controlling freak on the planet and just makes my stomach sick to hang out with, but I got to hang out with them because it's my sibling. No, you freaking don't. And this is that, remember way back, if you guys look like a year back in my shows, the messages were from source, do not be attached to role and title. That message could not be any deeper of truth. And it has been shown to me through every way it could show up. Source is showing me, nope, don't be attached to your daughter. Nope, don't be attached to your friend. Nope, don't be attached to that husband who's now leaving. Nope, don't be attached to the people's opinion about that. Don't be attached to any of it, because that's where the suffering comes from. And so if we really can be authentic, then I, Tanya, care more about what Tanya thinks about Tanya than I care about what anybody else in the world thinks about Tanya. That's why I feel so happy and confident no matter how popular I am. But there can be people that they have 1 million likes and they've got all these followers, but they're miserable and they're doing drugs behind the scenes because they can't stand their life and they can't stand the fakeness that they are in front of all these people. Why would we want that? And so we got to stop believing that success means just tons of followers or lots of money or just people that all agree with us. I was just watching Marianne Williamson, and I highly recommend you guys all watch this after I am done with the show today. Go right to YouTube and like type in Marianne Williamson religious speech, and it should come up. But basically, she just gave this speech at this convention of all the world's religions, and it is fucking awesome. Like, she is on fire, and when she's speaking, I just got fired up with her, and I was like, that is my soul sister. Like, she is a warrior, and she is roaring, and I love how she cuts through the bullshit, and she speaks her truth, and she knows who she is, and it's so apparent, and I feel like she is someone that I look up to. And if I'm someone that any of you look up to, or she's someone that you look up to, look to us as mirrors of who you are and the divinity in you that's ready to ignite and it's ready to show the world who it is. So like in Cindy, there is this divinity and it just wants to be authentic and it wants to be fired up and roar and show the world who she authentically is. And if she lets that happen, she's going to be freaking happy. She's going to be fierce, and she is going to change things wherever she goes. And there's the alternate path of, I don't want to let anyone know who I am because they may not like me. If I talk about the fact that I communicate with angels on Facebook, I might lose some friends. If I share with at the network group that, you know, I'm very connected to the angels and I can feel when the earthquakes are coming, I may have people just be afraid of me. And this has been my journey. I've had people afraid of me. But you get to a point where you realize the most important part of your life joy and your happiness and your mission is being authentic. And is not worrying about if everyone likes you, because there are going to be people who, like this says, innately do not like you just for being you. I just don't like her. Why? I don't know. I just don't like her. And there's people that are going to love you because you're fiercely you. I feel like Cindy, for example, her and I have done a lot of work together, and she's amazing, and I love her. And I feel like I inspire her, and I mirror to her this power and this passion that ignites her. And this is why we work together as client, teacher, friend, soul sister. And there's going to be these clients and these souls and these people that I will connect with that I know I'm helping, and I know that they want what I have. They want what I have to offer, the wisdom. They're ready. They're willing. They're stepping up. They're ready to do their work. My favorite humans on the planet, my favorite soul sisters, my favorite brothers are the ones who show up with that passion, purpose, drive, and authenticity, and they're ready to do their work. At the other side, I could be wasting my energy worrying about what the ones who didn't want to do their work think of me because I challenge them and say, you need to do your fucking work. And then they want to hate me and say what a shitty healer I am. And so you get to this place where you realize your authenticity is the most important thing. It is not a popularity contest. It doesn't matter if today a client loves you and then in 6 weeks they say they hate you because they didn't get their money's worth because they didn't want to do their fucking work. This is a big part of what we have to really be comfortable with. And I know my style can cut to the chase and I can be pretty blunt, but I also know that my heart is so angelic and loving and I have so much compassion. But at the same time, I've learned to balance my warrior and my angel, my yin, my yang, my masculine, and my feminine. It's balanced. And because of that, the people who are ready for that balance, they will be drawn to work with me. And the ones that don't want that, they don't want to see their shadow. They don't want to look at their behaviors. They don't want to let go of their addictions. A person like me coming and shining like that is going to scare the shit out of them. And they're going to run for the shadows, screech into the shadows. And so what we each have to get comfortable, this is just my advice to any of you that are ready to embody your divinity, is you get comfortable being fiercely you without any attachment. You can't do it because you're attached. You do it from your love and you do it from your truth. You speak your truth. I was in a courtroom like it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago for my son, for my ex-husband abusing my son like a year and a half ago. And it's been dragging on. And I go in this courtroom, and this is a courtroom that initially we created a judicial system to create justice, right? Sounds good. Well, that ain't what was fucking happening in that courtroom. And I walk in, and there's this snaky lawyer that my ex has hired that is totally trying to twist everything around, trying to frustrate my son when he was speaking, and when I went in, trying to frustrate me. And I just stared him in the eyes. And I basically, like, what's the word? It's like I unnerved that whole courtroom because I didn't play their game, and it really caused a stir because everything I would say was truth, but they'd be like, oh, objection, objection. They're all like, she's saying stuff. She shouldn't say it that way. And I actually said to them, I feel like this is a room for speaking truth, and that is my truth. And then the judge actually yelled at me and said to stop speaking. And I said, it's truth. And I challenged that judge. And I know this sounds really bold. And I actually asked Will later, I'm like, could I get arrested? Because I hope that wasn't going to happen. But big picture, I say this to you because it's that kind of fierceness where you come in and I know that I picked up my son the day of this event and he was beat up by his dad. I know that. I witnessed it. I witnessed the bruises coming in live, the welts coming in. I had to face that. I had to take him to the ER. I had to sit with him when he tried to commit suicide. Like, there is so much shit I went through with that child and with what my ex did to that child. And so to sit in a courtroom where they're trying to silence me and they're trying to twist my words and they're trying to tell me what I can or cannot say about that truth, I was like, no one owns my truth. And it's that kind of fierceness. This is the fierceness we each have to have because there's too many of us that walk into a courtroom or we walk into a classroom or we walk into a church or we walk into our grandma's living room and we fucking go silent and we feel like we're not allowed to speak our truth because they say, who are they? Like, why do they have control over my truth? This is the kind of liberation I'm talking about where it means no attachment. It means there may people think that you are freaking crazy because you speak your truth in a way no one else has dared to speak before, but that's why it's so important you do it. And this is the kind of thing Marianne Williamson was talking about in this religious group meeting where she just cut through the shit and she was like, throughout history, let us not forget that women have not been treated so good from religions and that many have been killed in the name of religion. And she just went into it. But what I loved, and this is what I want to end with on her note, what I love that she said, and it is so true, is that she said that passionate, free-thinking mothers and passionate, free-thinking fathers raise passionate, free-thinking children, and passionate, free-thinking children grow up to be passionate, free-thinking adults who are very hard to manipulate or control. And she had everybody rising up and clapping for her because it is truth. If each of us becomes a passionate, free-thinking human that basically become your passionate, free-thinking divinity, you are free sovereign beings. Every one of you are free, but many of you, under the illusion that you are not free. Many of you are under the illusion that you are enslaved in some way, and it's an illusion. It is not true. Whether it's a courtroom illusion or it's a marriage illusion where the husband, I lived with this husband who fucking told me, you try to leave me, I'll take the children, I'll take all the money, you'll have nothing. I lived through that. And as scary as that was, I made myself move through that illusion and I took back my freedom and I took back my power. Was it scary? Hell yeah, it was damn scary. But the thing is, each of you have that power in you, and whatever it is that's enslaving you, if it's an addiction, if it's your job, you can't stand your job, if you wake up and you are pissed that you have to go to work and you hate it, it's not your job anymore. That is your sign from the universe. Like, have the courage to let go and find something you love. And if you have to do that gently, do it gently, but get on the path of change. Like, stop procrastinating and pretending that you have to be there forever. Stop telling yourself you have to tolerate that. Stop telling yourself that you have to tolerate that boyfriend who cheats on you or that girlfriend that lies to you all the time or the husband that dominates you. You don't have to tolerate it. And so that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about today. It's not, little light, fluffy stuff. It's like hardcore shit, but it's so worth doing your work. And it really comes from loving yourself, caring more about what you think about you than what the world thinks about you. And you are free because the world's going to think whatever the fuck it wants to think about you. It is always going to do that. But you, what you think about you, how you see you, how you love you, that is what's waiting to wake up inside. That's your liberation. That's your freedom. It's not going to a church and, you know, join in a club, and then one day you can go to